Uh, will just introduce myself. My name is Satish, and I'm basically having over 10 plus years of experience into cloud computing in Linux and as well as DevOps in these technologies. And I work with different companies and various projects, and I have handled various teams in DevOps and as well as Linux and as well as the cloud computing as well. And I have done like implementations, deployments, and designing the highly available fault-tolerant applications across the globe for the different various customers across the globe. So I have handled different responsibilities and as well as I have led the teams to work for the clients and the customers across the globe. So this is a little bit about me, a snapshot of me. It comes into our course, so it's like basically the cloud computing. We'll just go with what is basically a cloud computing it is, and why we need to go with cloud computing, and what are the benefits of the cloud computing, or what are the features that it can pose to the customers or the people. So we'll try to discuss in some example instead of discussing and going with the definitions and that. We'll just go with some basic example. So we'll just take an example and see. So think like this guy name is Ram. So he's basically, and we are going back to 10 years ago stage. So we're just going back in 10 years, like it's like 2005 to 2006 time, let's think like. So we're in the, now we are in 2005 or 2006, we're just 10 years, we went back. And, there is a guy called in Ram in 2005 or 2006, and what his hobbies are, he basically listen to music and watch movies. So he listen to music and watch the movies. So it can be any music or any movies, like English, Hindi, any languages, various different languages. He loves the music and all. So basically, in his, he has a desktop in his home. So basically, this CPU, and he has this is monitor, and you can say that he has some keyboard, and he has some like, so all these things he has. So this is desktop. So in that he has like CD or DVD drive. Maybe see that CD DVD drive. So what he will do, as he has the interest in listening to music, so he'll buy the DVDs and CDs whenever the new album is released, or maybe a new movie is released. So what he will do, he will go to the market and he will go to the shops and bought the DVDs and put into in this CPU cabin, in the CPU CD DVD tray, and listens. He start listening and all those things. And as his hobby, as the movies are increasing and the albums are increasing day by day, so what he did, so he needs to put some, he bought some tray where he can put this all his DVDs and CDs in his tray. So like these, all these things he put it. So whenever a new movie release, the same thing he's doing. He's bought the DVDs and the CDs and he put it in his tray. So if he wants some rock, Ricky Martin, he'll just take that DVD or CD and he'll put it into this CD tray and he'll start listening to it. Or maybe he wants some Transporters movie, he'll just take that movie out, the DVD or the CD of the movie, and he'll put it in the tray and he'll start watching this movie. So that's how it is in 2005 and the 2006. Now, when you compare to the current situation where we are in the 2016, like end of the 2016 we are in. Now, we'll compare. So the same guy Ram, as here also is available, he's doing fine and he's doing good with his hobbies like watching movies and listening to music. He's doing the same thing. But in these last 10 years or 15 years, the technology has emerged in an enormous way, but you can say that in a better way of technology has been emerged. And we are not stick with the desktop anymore. We have laptops. You can say that we have the laptops, and we have the tabs. You can say that we have the tabs, and we have the smartphones. We are having the laptops and tabs and as well as the smartphones. So the technology emerged. So the desktop, which is sits or resides in a room or maybe in the corner of the room, he's it's in the lap of ours. That's called the laptop, or maybe in your hands as a smartphone. It's like a mini computer, which is in your hands. Now the technology emerged and everything is image. That's fine. But what about his hobby? Now, if he wants to listen some of the album, or maybe if he wants to watch a movie, what he needs to do in the previous days, 10 years or 15 years ago, he just take the CD out and put it in his tray and he start listening or watching. But what about, so if you comes to here 2016, so in laptop also you will find the same CD or DVD drive. You can put it and you can watch. That's fine. What about if he has a tab? If he's using the tab, we don't have any CD or DVD tray to put in the CD or DVDs and watch the music and listening to the watch the movies and listening to music. And the same with smartphone, you don't have any option to put the CD or DVD in it, right? So basically, what is no his hobby is to basically listen to the music and watch movies. But where he put all these? So in his earlier days, he has used this trace and CPU and says doing it. But what happened if he's in the nowadays? Then what he needs to do it? Basically, the question is the tray. Whatever you're talking about the CDs and the album, you can say that the albums, the music album, and as well as the movies. So all this combination, all this data, where he needs to put and how he needs to access in the devices, like all the devices like what we have with smartphone, tabs, and as well as the laptops, right? If it after 5 years or 10 years, you might be seeing a better device than tabs or smartphones, you might be seeing, right? So where to basically put, the question is comes like where to put all these things to access by all of the devices which are available in the market. Not only through the, you can also, instead of using the tray, you can also use this desktop to access these albums and movies. You need to do that. You have to do that. You should do that. And as well as with the laptop, tabs, and smartphone, where can I put this data? So then a technology has came. It's not a technology where you can say that a model has came. That model is basically, you call it as it's a cloud. So basically what he does is he copied all his, or he uploaded all his albums here, all his movies here. Now he just need an internet connection, so that using this internet connections he can directly connect to the cloud. Like we have iPhone, iCloud, Google Drives, and we have in Microsoft we have the drives. Everywhere you have the cloud storage, right? You basically put your data and movies and everything is there. You just need a data connection to your smartphone or tab. You just need an internet connection. You just need to put the plug-in, or you need a Wi-Fi connection. Just using that, you just go and connect to the cloud computing. And he is very happy that you don't need to buy a new DVDs or CDs. You don't need to buy a new tray and all these things. You just use his internet connection to go and connect to the cloud, and he can listen to whatever the album he needs, he wants, or whatever the movie he wants. You just play the in smartphone or tab or maybe laptop, anywhere you just can do that. So this is how basically the cloud has emerged into the market. This is it. Now we have seen a simple basic example of a RAM. So it's like his personal thing, like basically his personal interest, for the person. So for a human being, how cloud is useful, we have seen. Let's comes into the other part of the examples. Let's say instead of a personal, think like a corporates, maybe things like the organizations of the business, how cloud is emerging, how cloud is useful, how the business, the organizations are benefiting the using the cloud computing model. So we'll try to see the same example how it compared to the business organizations as well. So we'll try to see a guy. So another guy will see, and his name is Sachin. His name is Sachin. So what his thought is, same thing like 2005 or maybe 2006, something like the same age. Again, we'll go back to the 10 years ago. And what he needs to do is, what he start his business. He wants to run a business or maybe start a business, same like Flipkart or Snapdeal or maybe Amazon. What those guys are doing, they are doing online reselling, e-commerce website. They will do sell the products on the online. So he has also the thought, so he wants to start the business. So basically what he needs, so to start an e-commerce application, basically he needs he needs the goods. So he already holds it. Let's say he has already bought the goods. Now he needs to make it available to the customers across the globe, or maybe across the country, or maybe across the state when he resides. Then what are the requirements if he wants to go with, or if he wants to start his business, that e-commerce business, if he wants to start, what are the needs, the benefits, sorry, what are the main things, main components which he needs? First, basically he needs some application, some application which might be any application, which basically if you open that application, you need to have all the products, maybe category wise, company wise, and anything like this. Some application which has all, and which needs to be have some IDs, and what is the price for that, and all those things it needs to have the application. And as well as it needs to be deployed on some server. Basically it needs to be deployed in some server, so he needs an application which he will deploy on server, and that server needs to be have what is a server? It means, let's say he needs electricity, needs a power, and as well as internet. Because if you want to connect any people, let's say I'm here like Satish, if I want to open his domain, let's think like he's Amazon.com, something like same like Amazon.com is mapped to his server, like Sachin's server. Then if I open, he will I will go and access to that server, and I will see that application what he's designed using some many languages which he has. Now I'll see the products category wise or brand wise, or you can say, and I will select whatever the product I want. I will just go and buy it. But to start his business, to start what he needs, basically he needs some server, right? He needs basically he needs some space to put his servers. Means server means basically it's a machine, think like a desktop or maybe a laptop. It's the same like this. There's no difference than it's same like a computing device like what we have in a desktop or a laptop. It's the same like that. It will have the same resources like hardware, like CPU, RAM, hard disk, everything. Everything is same, but the difference is that the operating system which we use is differs when it compares to the server. When you say if you have a laptop or desktop, you'll install Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10. Those are all the desktop operating systems from Windows. If you go to the servers, Windows has a server operating system where you can install on the same hardware. You can make your own desktop as a server. It just there's no difference. It's just a server which will install some of your applications, that app, that e-commerce app you want to do. To do that, what you need, basically you need electricity, which we already discussed. So you need to go to the electricity department, and you need to make a new connection, and then you need internet. So you need to buy a leased line from the local vendor, and you need to do that leased line. And what about the server? So is it one server is fine for you, or you want to think of high availability? Means if some server has some issue, you need to have other servers to be take up the request and all. Let's say, so how many servers you need? And let's say if you start with only one server, then how much RAM it needs? Like let's say he needs a 6 GB RAM is fine, or maybe 16 GB he needs, something like that. Or maybe he needs only 2-core CPU, his i7, i5, something like that. Or maybe he needs 16-core CPU, big CPU, and his 100 GB or maybe 500 GB is fine. Or maybe can he go up to like 2 TB drive kind of a thing, where he can store the data and all. So all these things. So do all these things, go to electricity, and he needs to make a connection, internet, and make a connection. For the server, what he needs to do is he needs to go to an IT shop. Simply he needs to go to an IT shop and check for the configuration what he needs or what his application supports, and then pay that amount and wait for the shipment to come to his home or maybe his room, wherever he wants to start. Then once it came, what he needs to do it. So when you buy a desktop or maybe laptop, what the first thing you will do it? Just plug in the power, electricity, and then start installing the operating system. In the earlier days, we installed Windows XP, and later we installed Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. Now we are installing. Right? The same way, you need to install some operating system. But in the applications or in the real time, what we'll do in the organizations, we'll install the server operating system instead of the desktop operating system. Everything is same. This is the server, it's a desktop. That's only the difference. Right? We'll install the same like how we are installing Windows. We'll also install some Linux or the Windows servers. And once we install, you need to connect the internet to that server. So think like this is a server, it's came, and we need to install the operating system, and we need to connect the internet, and first we need to power on. Then you need to deploy your application, what are the e-commerce application you're talking about. Then you need to start the business. So how much time it will take for all this whole process to be completed? How much time will it take? Might be 7 days. Maybe 7 days, or maybe if you're very fast, maybe 3 to 4 days, or maybe 2 days. Think like minimum to go there and install and get the connections from everywhere and all those things. Maybe 2 days, or maybe at least you got everything within no time. You think like you will get it one day. You get it one day like that. But if you use same cloud computing, if you use the same requirement, and if you want to implement the same thing in the cloud computing, using the cloud computing, you can do it within minutes. You can complete this within 30 minutes. It's less than 30 minutes I'm talking about. So from the 7 days, or maybe a 3 to 4 days, or one day, to how much we came to 30 minutes, right? So business or organizations are saving the time from like almost like 1 week to just an hour. So 1 week to just within a less than an hour. This is how. So same example, Sachin. So as scheme. Now if you compare to the big companies like Google, Facebook, or what are the big MNC companies, what they'll do. If any new client came or the new customer came, if you get it, what you need to do, you need to create maybe some POC environment kind of a thing. You need to create a POC environment where you can show your app to them. If the client says yes, the thumbs up symbol, if it says yes, then what you need to maybe create a development application, development product for you. So it needs some kind of servers and like some Linux or Windows, what you can say that Windows servers, and some database you need. If your application has some backend databases using some database servers and all, then you create a development environment. Then as per the requirements of the client, you basically change. The developers will change, and the testing will test, QA testing all will test as per the client requirements. Is it working fine? Is it actually shows whatever is the customer is looking for? If then everything is safe, then they move from the dev to development to the production, like this. But in the same scenario, the same like Sachin, it will take to create the development environment and move to the production. It will take a lot of time. Launching the servers, installing operating systems, database, everything, it will take some time. But if you use the same with cloud computing, you can do all these things within hours. So the days has been gone, the days to configure, to deploy, to create an application, to create a POC environment, to create development environment. You don't need to wait for the days. Those days are gone. Now we are within hours you can implement. You can provision within hours, and you can terminate. Provision means here create. You can say that. We'll call it as provision in cloud computing. Provisioning means creating the environment, and terminate means deleting the environment. So within hours we can do that. So that's called flexible. You can say that it's more flexible. So the cloud can give the flexibility to provision at any point of time, to terminate any point of time. And also it will save with the cost savings as well a lot when you compare with in-house organization, or where you go to the IT shop and buy the materials and all. Right? It will also save the money and all. So we'll discuss more if everything goes well, like how we can save the money, and when it compared to cloud and how it shows and all those things we'll see. So is there any doubt, guys, on this introduction on cloud?
Yeah, like some companies maybe are more concerned about their security data and all. Why would they come forward to share their data on some other servers? Probably they'll have their own setup, right?
Yes, they have their. So actually, they have AWS has the compliance models. You can say the security compliance models. If you can just see, they're all certified. You can see AWS, just see compliance. So just see AWS compliance, one of the cloud compliance model, you can see that. So you can see that it's ISO certified, in PCI certified, and SOC certified, and data privacy certified. So these are all the certifications which is given to the companies who has that kind of mechanisms or the processes which can secure the customer's data, you can say that. And you can see this
Okay.
PCI, you can see that payment card integration. So if your application is using, let's say, PCI, any payment gateway, some clients require them. Some clients say that if your infrastructure is PCI compliance, or if your application is PCI compliance, then I will only post my data, or maybe I will host your product or something like that. Means these are all things has been done. Let's say if you see, there is an AWS Cloud. You can see that. Yes, AWS Cloud. This is you can see that AWS Cloud. It's an isolated region. You can see that which is for their US government. So the US government is itself using the cloud, and you might see there is CIA, which you might see it in Hollywood films like CIA. It's a security agency of US government. So they had the thorough testing on AWS infrastructure, and they certified that it's very secure. You don't need to have any concerns about the data privacy and that. And they have like all the procedures that they cannot see your data, they cannot touch your data, because they will not see your data which is in storing on their resources, or on their infrastructures. Basically they will not see you. And also for that they have all the processes they have maintained, how they are doing, and how they're actually implementing it. So they have all the processes and all, and they are doing it. And also they are using some kind of encryption, so they are also give the customers to do the encryption kind of thing. Either AWS can do the server-side encryption, where they can do the encrypt your data so that no one can read till it decrypted. The same with AWS, or you or any customer, or maybe an hacker. Or instead of, if you don't want, again, you don't want to go with the encryption of AWS, you can use your own encryption methods, own encryption technologies. You can encrypt your data and store it on the infrastructure so that it will be in encrypted format, no one can read, as a humans cannot read it unless it
Okay.
decrypt.
Okay.
Any other doubts?
Yeah, I mean, you said that initially we need to set up like electricity, internet, and everything to set up a date, set up the complete system.
True.
So companies might deploy application multiple times and they might move to production. So as this is required recursive process, they could go with their own setup, right? Why would they come to AWS to have the server? Because it need to be used multiple times for the companies.
See, that's what I mean. I don't have much time to tell you, so I'll just tell you. Let's say a simple example. Let's say they
Okay.
think like uh, a customer came from, let's say, US, and he needs, let's say, 100 servers, and the organization which you have, you already packed everything. Means there's you don't have much servers there, so you don't have this much of capacity. Like 100 servers means 100 systems you need. That capacity you don't have, so just go there and go to IT shop, then bought the say 100 servers and all. Let's think like this 100 hours cost around, let's say, uh, maybe some $50,000 or something like that. Just given a rough idea about $50,000, and he bought it and he stayed here. And they have did all the operating system for everything, and they gave it for the POC for the product, and he watched it for maybe he gone through all the product and all those things for maybe 1 week, or maybe 1 month, something like that, and then came back that uh, I'm not interested in your product, and then say that he canceled the contract, or maybe he is not yet signed uh, a requirement, or maybe the product for it. So then what you will do with this 100 servers? So you almost like Think like $50,000 is very less amount for the 100 servers, but I'm just giving you a rough idea. So what you'll do with this 100 servers where you already have using all these servers for other clients, it will be basically in ideal state. As long as a new customer came, you can allocate these. But if any other customers didn't came, then these should be in ideal state. You don't have to do anything; it will be in ideal, right? So if you didn't get any new customer in the 6 months or maybe in 1 year, then this whatever the amount you invested here, the capital expenses, we call it as capex. Capital expenses means that you invest for a project or maybe for a client. This is or which is like ideal. You're not getting anything out of it. You're not get anything out of it. It's all the resources are ideal. When you compare the same thing with the same example with the cloud, let's say you want 100 systems, you just create 100 servers. And when you come back after 1 week or maybe 1 month, you said no, you just delete it. Only pay for how much you used. Used for 7 days, take $100. Used for 1 month, take $1,000. The compared with the price, like he's invested here $50,000, he's invested only $1,000 for here. Like how much you're saving. This is just an example how it can happen. And also this is wherein we are thinking of the in the prospect of financials, right? And think like the same hundreds of OCs you have given, and in you have configured and everything is seen. You're like almost 2 months or 3 months you are running, and later something happened, like maybe some power surge happened, or maybe some internet surge happened in your city, or maybe where your organization is residing, or maybe some disaster has happened. What will happen to your organization, or maybe your uh, servers? The servers will obviously will go down, right? Means your application or maybe your website will always everything will go down. So when if you use the cloud, you have an option to make your applications or make your servers deploy across regions. Regions means across countries. If something goes down in a country, still you have other services, other servers, you can say other applications which are already available in different continents or countries. So if something goes down, you still have another servers, another countries, another different data centers in different countries. You can just within no time you can make up your or maybe live your website or your application. This we can do that. So and for 100 servers or 100 systems you're talking about, what you need the people who needs to manage, like maybe the guys who did like network team you need, and you need storage team you need, and you need administrator team you need, and you need like normal admin, like who manages this uh, requirement like ACs and the internet power and everything. You need all these people for these servers. Basically it's a human power you need just human power. And if you don't have that much human power, you need to again recruit the members. And wherein if you use the cloud, you don't need to require this network admins or administrators who manage this uh, like electricity. If something goes down, you need some generator which can have some kind of a backup for your electricity, for backup for your internet, backup, and you need the ACs and all, which maintains the cooling uh, ambience or the infrastructure for your servers and all those things. You need those kind of things, and you need the persons, and you need the equipment to handle all those things. Wherein if you use the cloud, you don't need to require all these things. You don't need to require. You just create the servers. You just create how many you want. You just deploy your applications and start. If you want to deploy, or if you want to develop, or if you want to test, you just go ahead and do your work. Instead of worrying all the infrastructure tasks or infrastructure management, you don't need to worry. Everything is handled by AWS. Everything is handled by the cloud computing vendors. The infrastructure part, they handle it. If something goes down, they'll make it is available. They'll make sure that it should be available, right? So this is how they will benefit. Like, so you just think of you're developing your product and adding more features to it and testing the more features to it, are contacting the clients. Instead of wasting your time on infrastructure, you can just go there and use the time, utilize the time, make your product is better, and all those things. Those you can do that. Understood? Still you have some doubts?
Yeah, got it, Satya.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And we'll see the course content now so that you can understand. Just open the course content. So we'll just go through this course content. So in the initial classes, we'll see this, but like 2 to 3 initial classes, just go with the definitions of what is cloud computing and what is its characteristics, and when you can say a provider or a vendor is a cloud computing provider, and what are the advantages, and why we need to go to the cloud computing, and what is the costing model, and what are the different service models available in cloud, and what are the different types of cloud computings we have, and all those things we'll see. And also we'll see what are the risks and concerns, like what are the uh, myths about cloud computing, and all those things we'll discuss, and how actually cloud computing or the cloud computing provider answering those questions we'll see. And also we'll see some introductions to virtualization. So what is basically virtualization and how it correlates with cloud computing, and we'll see introduction to AWS, and then we'll start going with EC2. EC2 basically it's like just a servers, like how you create the servers in cloud, how you terminate it, how you create a Windows or how you create a Linux, and all things, and how to secure your servers, and as well as what are the pricing for those servers which are you're creating. Like if you want to take the backups, if something goes down, if your server is down, or if your server is corrupted, maybe it got some kind of failure, it got corrupted. So what are the backup technologies we have? What are the backup strategies we have? So how to take the backups, and all those things we see, and we'll see some basic fundamentals of networking to work with this AWS, like what is like TCP/IP protocols, and what is IPv4 and IPv6, and what are the types in IP addressing, what is the communication types, and we'll see what is the network and host portions, and we'll try to touch base about the NAT, network address translation, and also we'll see about the load balancer. So how you can basically deploy your applications on cloud infrastructure using HA, high availability, how to make your application is highly available and load balanced. So you need your applications to be load balanced. You don't want a single server and a single device to be bombarded with all the users. How you make your application is highly available and fault tolerant using this load balancing and all those things. And we'll see how you can manage your storage. What are the storage services we have? How you increase the storage? How you decrease the storage if you want? And how much you need to pay, and how to create and delete and provision and all those things you need to do it. And we'll see some push notification service called SNS. And also we'll see how you can create your own virtual networks which closely resembles your organization network. How to create the virtual networks in cloud computing, and how to create the public networks, and as well as how to create the private networks. So public means uh, in that network you can access from anywhere, wherein private means no one can access. Everything is by default closed. It's like locking your home with a key, means no one can go into that home, or maybe whoever is in that room can not come out of it. Just like private, making yourself. You create a server, you create your storage in the cloud, but that's in the private. No one can see, no one can access. But we'll see how to do that. And we'll also see some introduction to the databases, like how to create those databases and how to integrate with our applications, and all those things we'll see. And we'll see some how the domains are working, how your applications are working. When you say www.google.com or maybe www.facebook.com, what is actually happening in the behind the scenes? When you just open www.facebook.com, within no time, within a milli of second, you're getting an application that's displayed to you asking for the username and the password. How actually it is working? Who is behind the scenes to make that website or maybe the application which is comes in front of you or maybe in the browser on your system. So we'll discuss all these things, and also we'll see how to monitor your resources, how to monitor your applications and all those things. And we'll see that there is an interesting concept called auto scaling. So based on the load increases, let's say think like the say example like Amazon or something, they will do some like big billion day sales, great Indian sales, something like that. So what will happen? Normal days, think like you will get 100 users per second, or maybe 10 users per second. But if you have some kind of an offers, maybe Thanksgiving offers, if you say US, or maybe Christmas offers, then a lot of people tend to buy the products. There, the users base will increase. The spike, the sudden spike in the your application. So will your application sustain with that spike increasing within no time? If you want to sustain your application, if you want to provide the best performance application or without no downtime, how to scale up or scale down your infrastructure. So we'll see it in auto scaling, and we'll see how to manage the permissions in cloud, how you can give the permissions to the other users, and other things we'll see. And also we'll see another storage service like S3. We'll see and how to basically create some static website. That also we'll see. And we'll see like some CDN service which is available in AWS and Amazon Web Services. It's called CloudFront. We'll also see what is CDN and how to do that. And also we'll see some application called Elastic Beanstalk, which comes under sysops. We'll see and DynamoDB, it's a NoSQL database, how basically you can create the tables and add some story data and all these things we'll see. And also what is CloudFormation. So it's like infrastructure as a code. So how you write your code to create some applications, to deploy some databases, something like that. How you use your code, using the code, you need to create some resources. You don't need to go to the console, or you don't need to click next and finish. You don't need to do that. You just use your coding knowledge to make everything is work. It's like you call this as orchestration. In DevOps, you call it this as orchestration. So that we'll see. And also we'll see another like different storage drives, and we'll see how to manage the cost and billing managements in Amazon Web Services. And we'll see some case studies how we can basically implement like single tier, two tier, three tier applications across the regions, means across the countries and across data centers, how we can deploy all these things. And we'll see some of the certification standpoint as well. Like we'll cover some, I will give you some terms, so I will ask you to answer the questions. And before that, I will tell you when the questions will come and what are the questions you can expect in the exam, and how many types of the questions will come, and how to understand the question and how to analyze the question, and how to answer the questions in efficient way so that you can get most out of the certification exams and other things. We'll cover all these things. So this is all about uh, the course curriculum. So if you need more services, maybe more applications, or maybe more services which is not covered here, you can also uh, give some suggestions so that we can add in the course curriculum as well. So this is all about this course curriculum. So if you have any questions, have any things which you need to discuss?
Thanks a lot, Satish. Ravi, any queries? Ravi, are you there?
Yeah, I was on mute. Okay, I'm fine, Umesh.
You're fine, right?
Yeah.
Other than you, Fani and Mohan, you have any queries, you can go forward and ask.
We are
Funny.
good.
Okay.
He's fine, right?
Funny, you have any questions?
I'm good, Umesh.
You're good, right? Thanks. Okay. So let's end this session, and I will, contact my sales team, and then they will take it further from here. Thanks a lot, everyone. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Satish.